Hey, everybody. I want to talk to you about the concept of acceptance in a dialogue with a child in therapy, or when a parent is speaking to their child about an event that may be controversial or tense in some way. When a child says something that's provocative or that really raises a sense of disappointment or rejection in a parent or you as the therapist, for example, the kid might say something like, I don't want to go to school. School is dumb, or the teacher is dumb. And that often provokes a reaction in the parent that they say, well, don't say that. That's not true. The school is really trying to help you and you're not trying hard enough. And whatever their feelings are of anger towards the child, that the therapist has to demonstrate, you have to demonstrate complete flowing with that energy. And that isn't something that you do with necessarily a rote script or a phrase. It has to be more in your attitude. So if a kid says, I hate school, school is dumb, all the teachers are dumb, I don't learn anything, that you say, okay, hey, thanks for telling me what's on your mind. I'm glad to know what you feel about that. And just have this sense of nothing is going to shock me or make me frozen or have this sense that I have an agenda that I'm going to change your mind. Now, why is that? That's one of the most important things is the child has an inner world where they're feeling like something with them is wrong and they fear being rejected. They're already feeling lonely and isolated. That's very, typical for kids who come into therapy. And so they're coming out with something that's a provocative statement. And it could be something not necessarily aggressive. It could be something along the lines of, sometimes I wish I didn't exist, or that I've never been born. And that also is, of course, provocative to parents and makes them and the therapists want to challenge that or to, get alarmed or some other defensive reaction. And the idea is that by flowing with and showing absolute radical acceptance and having body language of, yes, I get you. I'm glad to know what's on your mind, or something like, thanks for telling me that. That took a lot of courage. Or, yep, I hear you, that's sometimes what you think about. To say it with the energy that shows, I'm not shocked by you, I'm not disgusted by you, is your first step towards getting what's underneath. And it may take a couple of these, accepting phrases or this accepting stance for the underneath part to beyond the more provocative statement is a feeling that is of that loneliness, that sense of rejection, isolation, shame, hopelessness, despair. And that's really what we're trying to get to. So by really doing what is a stance of radical acceptance, and I find that it actually needs to be practiced, especially when somebody is provocative. And if you can have that sort of that attitude come right up in you. So if a kid says something like, therapy's a waste of time, something like that, that you have that practice of being like, hey, thanks for telling me what's on your mind. I appreciate knowing what you're thinking about. Having that really quickly come to the top of your, to the tip of your tongue with the energy, the convincing energy that I'm cool with what you're saying. It doesn't mean I'm condoning the behavior, especially if they're saying like, I'm going to kill you or something like that. That's not okay. You would then have to say, you know what, that's not appropriate. And you can't talk that way in here. And yet, thanks for telling me you're feeling unbelievably strong right now about something. And that's what I'm hearing. So thanks for sharing that part with me, is how you would respond to that. So I'm not condoning the behavior that is maybe going along with the strong feelings. And I want to make that very, very clear to both the child and the parent that ultimately, whatever it is, hitting, stealing, lying, manipulating, whatever it is, that's not the part that's acceptable. But the part of that they're coming in with really intense negative emotion, I am accepting that so that I can get underneath it. And the only way I can do that is by flowing with their energy and by not showing shock and really being poised and ready to show them, I got you. And I appreciate you telling me that.